connection, some touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that we deserve that. If what the people in healthcare are meant to do, and they agree,
Mhm.
treat, cure, and comfort, according to Hippocrates. Those are your only three jobs. Treat, often, cure, sometimes, comfort, always, always.
We have not talked about the relationship of that. I think there's a triangle: the doctor, the nurse combo, you, the patient, and then the compassion to the parents, caregivers, family. They got to do that too. And that's also where people get really upset was they blew me off. And I love my child. I love my wife. Can you give me some help? Speak to that for a second. How do we strengthen that relationship? They've got to give that other portion.
Well, you're lucky enough to have a family when you're in a medical crisis. Um, Thanks God. That presence alone is a major predictor of outcomes.
Yep.
Do you have physical presence and support from family and friends? And if you do, the reason you do is because they want to help relieve your pain and they want to be compassionate to you,
Yes.
which is necessary for the best outcome. Great. And then they can also be your advocate.
Yes.
But it's critical, like you did. It's scary for a patient because a patient is so vulnerable. During that, you just had a liver frickin' transplant, and they can't treat you like a human being.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Then to go, excuse me, but you need to. No, but if you have family and friends who can
Yes.
do it, now do it if you can. If you got the courage and no family and friends, speak up. And again, not to that person, get their boss.
Yes.
You know, you
Yes.
don't want to talk to your waiter. You want to talk to the, to the manager. And if that doesn't fix it, just get out of there as quickly as you humanly possibly can and never come back.
Now, I do want to mention your book. We threw it out there. You have Compassion Heals,
Yes.
Self-Care to Healthcare.
From self-care to healthcare. Yep.
Tell us about the book. What's the target?
Yeah. It is a summation of my medical life, which is ridiculous, that I'm still alive. But it's a summary of that, looking at it from a perspective of competency and compassion. So it is the reality of what I experienced,
mm-hmm.
the good parts all the way back, globally, my cancer treatment, which up until that time in that hospital was as good as a misery could be, and the science of why it's necessary, it's not arguable, it's not something, compassion is not something that you do if you feel like it, what the heck? No. It's absolutely mandatory. So it explains the science, it explains my experience, it explains how compassion saved my life and prevented me from ending it and committing suicide. And it's about the work that I'm doing now to reveal and reverse the problem, which is now morphed into, because I'm thrilled to be 75, but how many more years do I have to get this message out there? So I want to get this documentary done to reveal the crisis, to educate patients and providers and healthcare institutions that we know what we need. You better give it to us. We're out of here.
So when is the documentary going to be completed, edited, set for release? Do you have any target dates?
It's going to be, we got a target is about a year from right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still in the process. We've secured the University of Wisconsin Center for Healthy Minds and all of their research.
Yes.
You might know them.
Yes.
Extraordinary research to prove the infinite power of compassion. We've also signed the Global Compassion Coalition, which is over 1 million people committed to bringing more compassion, not only into healthcare, but just to the world. They're helping us get this movie made and putting us in touch with the corporate sponsors we need to fund it and get it out there and shot.
So you call this a crisis.
Phew.
Can we reverse the crisis?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
convinced of that?
Oh, no. I'm not convinced. I'm 1,000% sure. Listen. When we were developing as human beings in the cavemen days, we didn't worry about fame and fortune. We just hoped we weren't going to get eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay?
Right.
So one night, a family looks over to the little group next to them, and one of their kids gets eaten by a Tyrannosaurus, which had just happened to him, to this fellow. So he goes over the next day and says, I noticed, I'm so sorry about your boy, but that he got eaten last night. I had the same thing. I tell you what, how about this? How about you go to sleep tonight and I'll watch over you? And then the next night, you let us go to sleep, you watch over us, and we come together.
Yes.
That is the definition of compassion. Let's work together to minimize or relieve your suffering. We have to do it to survive. It is a crisis.
So there's two aspects we haven't touched on quickly here now is you have to be vulnerable to admit you need this. To share that point of pain, you have to be open to saying, I can't do this alone.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing for some people to say, I need help.
Yes. And I'm in this moment, I'm weak, I'm stupid, I'm furious because I'm in ridiculous pain.
Yes.
The answer is I'm not Superman. I'm not. And I wish I was, but I'm not. And it's okay to be vulnerable. We need doctors and nurses to say the same thing. I'm not well. I need help.
Yes.
And get it, or your legacy is, how many people did you kill because you were mean, insensitive, and unkind? That's not the legacy you want. That's not why you got into healthcare. So be kind. 45 seconds maximum.
So, Lee, we're going to share out your website here. It's going to pop up on the screen, that little QR code. Make sure you scan the code, learn about it. But what are they going to find when they go to your website?
Well, they're going to see my 10 years since I was diagnosed. They're going to see some revealing of the different topics I speak about, the different audiences. They're going to see my TED Talk. They're going to see a bunch of speaking bits. It's a message that everybody needs to have. Compassion is what brought us together when we were on the verge of extinction in the days of the dinosaurs. It can heal a world that is so now conflicted and fighting and back and forth. And the only thing that can truly reverse and cure that anger and vitriol and violence is human connection. No joke. Scientifically proven. No joke. It's the only thing that will save us. So now or disaster. It's a choice. It's a choice.
Red pill, green pill. Lee, final question for you here today as we wind down for a great episode. But
thank you.
Movie studio, producer, that's some of the stuff that we all dream, the big job. Did you ever think that from the big job to the tragedy, that this passion project would be the biggest thing in your life? Did you ever imagine that?
Never in a million, trillion, zillion, how many years? Forget about it. Not a chance in, not a chance in heck. Um, Nothing could, mind you, I was the healthiest guy in the world when I went into my ENT. I owned a $150 million store, building another 150 wards.
Living a Hollywood dream.
Yeah. This work that I'm doing right now, I get why doctors and nurses do what they do. When I see, and around my office, when I speak to people and I see that I've touched their hearts, and I see that they've remembered why they got into healthcare, and I've gotten them to take a challenge and be just a little bit more compassionate every day to revive that within them. And they write me a note saying, Lee, you are a healer's healer. That was the most profound compliment I've ever gotten in anything I've ever done in my life. And the fact that I can help heal my healers so they can be better healers with their patients, colleagues, and friends and family.
From patient to the healer for the healers.
Yeah.
That's a cool journey.
Yeah. I'm lucky to be alive, and I am the most fortunate human on the face of the planet to be able to do what I'm doing. I love my work. I love my audiences. I just want people to be in less pain.
Lee Tomlinson, thanks for being a guest tonight on Rock the Stage. It's been marvelous, my friend. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, my extraordinary pleasure, Rich. I appreciate it very much you're having me. Thank you.
That's going to do it for tonight's edition of Rock the Stage Show. But again, remember, we've done a couple on compassion, and this topic is rising up and rising up. More and more people are wanting to be touched, to be felt, to be healed, to be whole, to be listened to. People are tired of just being blown off. Yeah. And there are organizations rising up in different categories, like what Lee's talking about here tonight. Yep. As we set off 2025, as we begin a new year, take a breath, take a step, and be more compassionate. Yeah. And believe me, you will make an impact in your own world, your own family, your own society. Maybe not the way Lee is, but you're going to have your own impact by leading out with compassion. That's going to do it for Rock the Stage this week. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Another amazing conversation. You never know. An author, director, a singer, you never know who's going to show up on Rock the Stage. We'll see you here, 7 p.m. Sunday nights. Have a great week.
Welcome to the Rock the Stage Show. Each week, international media expert Rich Bontrager has in-depth and personal conversations with celebrities, top leaders, authors, speakers, and media professionals. Now, from the Rock the Stage studios, here's your host, The Trigger, Rich Bontrager.
Welcome back. Rock the Stage Show, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're here for another great conversation. Always unscripted, highly informative, and a lot of fun. We have the actors, directors, producers, we have the artists, and today we're going to get back into the author space once again. You know, the thing about the authors is it's kind of